Hi folks, in this video I'm going to give you 15 proven ways to improve your search engine rankings, especially on Google. And the beauty of that is that whatever improvements that you see with your Google rankings as a result of implementing these tips, you will also see that play out positively on other search engines like Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, whatever the case is, because it's a universal thing. These tips work for improving search engine rankings across the board. Just to show you that I know what I'm talking about, here is one of my websites, and the traffic that it gets for that for a period of about 4 months. That's what I set it to. In reality, the site probably had like over 1 million visits overall, and it's targeted traffic, and that's because I know how to do SEO. And for the 4 months, it was basically 40,000 users, 39,000 of which were new. And a majority of those people, like 80% and above, I'd probably say 90% actually, are people that come from search engines and visit my website. So obviously, I'm doing something right with regards to ranking. Now, the very tips that I'm going to be giving you are also things that many SEO experts that I speak to and consult with agree with me on. So you're not just getting great improvement tips on SEO from just myself. You're also getting it from other people that know about this business as well. Now, also the thing is, before I get into the very same tips that I'll be describing in a moment, I will be generally discussing them and how they improve your rankings. But if you need more information and specific details on how to get all that done, I've included a link to the specific page that also talks about this particular stuff. It's an SEO page that I set up to help people with these types of topics, and it's going to get into all the details of the things that I've been talking about in this video. Okay, so I'm actually going to be using this particular page to illustrate some of the examples of the tips to help you improve your ranking. So let's get started. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's start with the first one. It's very important that if you're going to rank high on Google, you want to target a low competition keyword. Keywords like how to improve your health, how to have younger looking skin, or something like that, they're general terms that have a lot more competition. Or for example, how to improve your rankings. Okay, how to improve your rankings is also a very general term, so you want to make that a little bit longer, and the longer you make a keyword, generally speaking, the less competition it'll have. At the same time, you also want to chase a keyword that many people search for. You can use tools like the Google keyword planner. You can use tools like keywords everywhere to just type in things on Google, and you'll see how many searches they get. Then you want to see if the competition is low, and if it is, that's the keyword that you want to target. So in my particular case, I'm creating a video on how to improve your search engine rankings. That is the actual keyword that I'm chasing. But there are also other keywords, such as how to improve your rankings on Google. That's another keyword that I'm chasing with this YouTube video. Okay, so I'm actually practicing the very things I'm talking about. Now, it's very important that once you find your low competition keyword, that you make your title very attractive. A lot of times people make the big mistake of finding a low competition keyword and literally just pasting that into their title and expecting that to get them rankings. That's not how this works. You want to decorate the title and make it more clickbaitable. All right, and you also want to make sure that it's under 60 characters. So let me just give you a sample example over here. For example, on this particular blog post, I'm chasing the keyword how to improve my Google ranking. Okay, now if I were just to use that, it would be a pretty boring title. So I added these particular things, which is 15 proven ways to do it. So when somebody sees, let's say, two blog posts on Google, they type in how to improve my Google ranking, and they see my page and they see someone else's page that only uses this particular phrase, they're probably going to click on mine because it says 15 proven ways to do it. So somebody sees that and like, oh, there's proven ways to do that. That arouses their curiosity. And the more better you make your title, the more clicks you'll get from people that see your site on Google, and the more clicks you get, the more link juice you get, and that improves rankings. That's very important to understand. All right, so let's move to the next one. The next one is don't touch the permalink once it's published. Now, the permalink is basically the URL that follows. Let me rephrase that. My website, for example, is Helping Hand SEO. This is a free site where I talk about helping people improve their rankings. Among other things, you'll see a lot of articles on my page. So when I publish this post on my page, how do I improve my Google rankings? This site, this particular part of the URL, this is called a permalink. Okay, so my basic website is helpinghandseo.com, and whatever blog post I type, that becomes the permalink. So if I click on edit post, I'll just show you an example of this. So see this? This is the title, and once you put in the title, a permalink is going to be created. Okay, now if you decide to make changes to your blog posts or pages, if they're not, for example, ranking well and you want to improve them by making a better looking title, it is very important that you do not change the permalink, because once your the original article that you published, it's going to have its own permalink. And once you change the title, a lot of people change their permalink around. Don't do that. Leave that alone. So in my example over here, when I first wrote this article, I actually wrote 10 proven ways to do it, but then I added 5 more and I changed the title, but I did not touch the permalink. So do not touch the permalink once you, if you decide decide to make improvements or changes to your title, okay? Because what's going to happen is you're going to have 404 errors, and that's going to mess up your SEO. You don't want that to happen, so just leave that alone. Now, the next one is you want to have the first paragraph that you write to have the keyword. I just forgot to put that in. To have the keyword that you're chasing, the low competition one, and you want it to be under 160 characters. So in my particular case, this first paragraph that I wrote, the truth about rankings on Google is that 99% of the time, blah, blah, blah. This paragraph is under 160 characters. And the way that I found that was I went to this site. You can actually Google it. It's called Character Count. It's the first one's going to pop up. And I pasted it, and it says the characters are 158. Now, why do I say 160 characters and under? Well, that's because your site is going to rank for the title, for the keyword, and is going to have a description, a snippet, and that snippet is going to be your first paragraph. And if you keep it short and attractive, it's going to get people to click more on it. People sometimes tend to write very long paragraphs here, and that's not something you should do. Keep it short, keep it under 160 characters, include the keyword. So for example, here I included the keyword, and that's going to be much better for your rankings, okay? Now, let's move on. Add relevant images and make the alt text the keyword. Okay, so it's very important to understand that whenever images are very important for blog posts and getting ranked high on Google, because images attract people. You don't want to have too many images to distract people, but at the same time you want to use them to basically supplement your content. So this particular image that I added here showcasing my rankings on Google, firstly, is relevant because I'm talking about how to improve my Google ranking, and I show that I have high Google rankings. And I also made the alt text of this picture how to improve my Google ranking. Okay, so that's another relevant thing that you should be doing. Now, you don't want to make every single image that you write to have the same exact keyword over and over again, but you want to make at least one of them, particularly the first one, the very same low competition keyword that you're chasing. That's very important. Okay, now, very important, one internal link every 100 words. Now, what does that mean? It's very important to understand that in SEO, one of the things that Google looks for is a high quality website that interlinks with your other pages. So for example, on this page, on this whole website rather, Helping Hand SEO, I have about, at the time of this video, over 50 articles that I've written about various different SEO topics. I've written about backlinks, negative SEO, you name it. And what I've done is as I create new blog posts, I interlink them with the old ones. So for example, here, you see it says SEO expert. If I click on that, it's going to take me to another page on my website, and it's going to talk about me as being the expert. It's going to show the what I know about it, and it actually helps people flood into other areas of my site. It's also very important for search engine spiders from Google to see that, because if they see that you're interlinking to other places, they will head to those other pages on your site, and they will crawl those pages and improve the ranking of that. So interlinking is a great way to do backlinking on your website. I recommend you include a link to another page of your site every 100 words. Now, the opposite of that is including external links. External links are links that you're going to be pointing to other places. Now, I would not post an external link as often as I would post an internal link, because you want to keep people inside your website and basically enjoying your content and not clicking away from your page. But an external link basically shows that you're not doing what's known as link hoarding. This is something that I learned from a very knowledgeable SEO expert. And what happens is if you just keep posting, let's say, affiliate links or links to your site, you're basically hoarding the traffic for yourself. You don't want to do that. So, excuse me. So let's say, for instance, that I'm writing I'm doing a review about some sort of celebrity or something like that. I would want to make their name and make it an external link to, say, a Wikipedia page, or maybe to their official page. That counts as an external link, and when Google sees that, it shows that you're offering people valuable content and you're steering them to other authority pages that are going to basically improve their reading experience, and that helps your site rise in the rankings as well. That leads to the next thing, which is how much should you write when it comes to blog posts or pages. I say 1,500 words or more of high quality content is recommended. 1,500 words is not like a make it or break it kind of amount, but I aim to write this much because the more you write, the more you get people to read. But you also want it to be high quality content, and you want people to stay on your site longer. The longer people stay on your site, the more it shows Google that you have high quality content. So this post, for instance, I believe has about 1,800 words or more, possibly even 2,000 words or more of high quality content. And that's very important to understand. So try to aim for that amount. Now, use H3 tags to catch attention, and once in a while include the keyword. Now, what are H3 tags? See this right here? See how big these words are? These are called H3 tags. I use them because what happens is when people are reading through your content, if they see no images or if they see no bullet points, they might get bored of that. So an occasional H3 tag like wakes them up and keeps them interested in continuing to read. It increases the amount of stay time people have on your site. So you want to use that intelligently because it'll keep people longer on your site. And like I said, that'll help improve the SEO. Next, space out paragraphs and include 2 to 3 sentences per paragraph. Now you'll notice that many of the paragraphs that I have over here are pretty short. And what happens is if you keep them short, you keep people reading. And if you make paragraphs long, really long, like book long, it actually makes it boring for people to read because the eyes have a way of like as they're reading content, as they're looking through and understanding things, they look a little bit further down. They see how much is there left, and if they see that there's a lot left, there's a negative aspect to that. So if you keep things short, it keeps people reading longer. It's a very important strategy for SEO. Now the next one is every time you improve an old post, update the date on it. Okay, this is huge. You cannot believe how well this works. So for example, once I update this, how do I improve my Google ranking? 15 proven ways to do it. I changed some content on my site because the previous one said 10, so I had to edit those things and edit more content. I'm going to go to edit post, and I'm going to edit the date over here, and I'm going to improve that. So I, for example, had a lot of product reviews or posts on other sites that I made in say 2018, and I changed them in 2019. I would want to update the date on it because when Google lands on your site and they see that your data has been updated, they're actually going to boost up your post. So here I'm going to change the date to the 23rd. And I'm going to update that. Okay, so that's going to be very important for rankings. That's huge. I'm telling you that this is a very simple tip, but it works. And you actually want to make changes for this to happen. You don't want to keep updating a post, the date of a post, and not actually updating the content. Update the content. That's very important. Next, add a YouTube video, create a YouTube video rather, and link it to the page that you want to improve the rankings on. So for example, I'm making this very video for you right now that is talking about ways to improve your search engine rankings and on Google and on other search engines. And I'm literally linking it to this very same post that talks about the same topic but more in depth. And in doing so, each time you click on that, you're sending link juice to this page and boosting its Google ranking up. YouTube videos are huge. It's an awesome way of doing backlinking, and you should do it. You don't have to record your face. I personally don't like to do that, so I just record the screen and my voice, and that's perfectly fine for me. You can do the same thing as well. Next, whenever you publish new content, but link it to the page or post you wish to rank better. So it's very important that you understand that if you want to have good search engine rankings, you want to keep adding more and more content to your website. How much content? Well, I say write 2 to 3 blog posts at least a week, or at the very best once a day. If you can have a good publishing frequency and creating new blog posts following these exact same tips, your overall Google ranking and site is just going to explode with traffic. I promise you, that's very important. And you want to also link new content to old pages that you want to rank better. That's another way of it's basically a form of interlinking, internally linking, but through the process of creating new content, which is what Google loves. They love content curation. Now, make sure you open up comments and post content frequently. Now, obviously, posting content frequently I already explained, but a lot of people don't open up their comments section. They don't understand that comments are actually content. And when you have people post content on your website, Google actually crawls that content and also ranks it. So the more comments, rather, that you have on your post, the more it shows Google that you have a highly valuable site, and it gives you more SEO points. And finally, the last tip is that once you create a new article, or for example, you edit a new article, let Google know that you do that. They will find that out on their own, because if you have, for example, a WordPress site, each time you publish new content, it's going to ping Google. But you can actually expedite that process and make it faster by using the Fetches Google option. But in order to do that, you need a program called Webmaster Tools. Okay. So the Webmaster Tools is a free program where it'll literally tell you what your search rankings are on Google. But each time you create new content or update new content to try to improve its ranking, and you fetch that new content, it gives Google a much more faster way of looking at your new content to see if it's worth improving the rankings on. And if you follow these tips, you will see improvements. So in this particular case, let's say I made changes to this article. I'm going to take the URL. I'm going to let me just go to Google Webmaster Tools just to give you an example of how this is done. Webmaster Tools. I'm going to go over here, Search Console. I'm going to go to my site, Helping Hand SEO, which is the very site, the page that I want to improve the rankings on, and see where it says inspect any URL. I'm going to paste that URL which I made the changes to. Now I already did this, so I'm not going to complete this process, but just so you see how it's done. If the URL is not on Google, especially if it's new, it's going to say it's not on Google. But if it is and it's not ranking well, it's going to say URL is on Google. You just click on request indexing, and that is it. That's how you let Google know that you made improvements to your content. They'll look at it much faster and they'll make the changes. So that sums up the 15 proven ways to do it. Again, I've included a link below the video that'll take you to the more detailed ways of doing this. If you're more into like reading, and if you want to see more ways to improve your SEO, your rankings on search engines, on Google, all that kind of stuff, click the link below this video. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the content, and if you have any questions, be sure to do that as well. Thank you.